Welcome back, everyone, to week 49, where we're looking now at what went on in the first week of October 2019 and what I found interesting. Okay, first off, I'm not in charge of picking the news, but I can't seem to understand how most people still who watch the news even have no idea what's happening in Hong Kong. I don't understand how this isn't the biggest story right now. Things are getting crazier and crazier by the day. And meanwhile, I'm sure any of you who watch the news or who rely on the news to inform the public of what is going on, probably can tell me a whole lot about uh, the impeachment process. Now, if the president is impeached in the U.S., I'm sure that that'll mean that he'll be removed because that's how it works, right? You don't need the Senate to agree, which is totally going to happen. Anyway, news, Hong Kong suggest going and looking at what's happening there. If you are on Twitter and are looking for a news feed, I don't have that, but I suggest following Kyle Bass, who has a lot of updates on the region. It may be a slanted view in some way or another. That is not my judgment, or that is not my. It's basically where you can figure out what's going on. In a separate yet kind of related note, I was redoing this slide. I was deleting point by point, and then I get to the point, I'm like, no, hang on. No, same thing happened again. And that's what happened in gold. We're still consolidating around 1500. We again, last week, I pointed out there was fake breaks, fake breakout to the upside, fake break to the downside, upside. We had another downside, and then we're back above 1500. Yeah. So again, it's pricing. It's you just have to look at the fundamentals in the are we going towards a money printing environment, deflationary environment? What do you think gold would do in a deflationary environment? Because I think the answer might surprise you. Historically, it's actually done well in deflationary environments. But anyway, um, and then you look at the positioning. Now, on the break below 1500, I don't know if it was that exactly that caused it. I suspect it was. There was a fair amount of the overbought commitment of traders. There was a significant decrease in the long positioning, which, if you're bullish on fundamentals and trading indicators in that way, is probably bullish. But we remain here in basically where we were last week and the week before, except we've, tried to go in both directions, failed. We could go flat for 100 years. I don't know. But I remain long gold in the form of mostly gold equities, which, to my view, still remain skeptical of the pricing environment for gold. Um, Based on, if you look at cash flow, if you look at a whole bunch of things, they just don't seem to be buying it. We'll see if they're right or if gold goes higher and people remember that gold equities make more money when gold goes up. We'll see. On to uranium. Now, uranium was down a little bit this week, a little bit last week. But it's still at $25. I just say it's down because I made a stupid comment when it was up 4% in a week, and now it's back down to 4%. Really, nothing's happened. And to anyone who thinks that A, the spot price means much, and B, that not that unmove in the spot market, move, yeah, I know, means that the thesis is wrong, well, those people might want to ask themselves, um, what does $25 uranium mean? Well, when I look at it, means deficit, means no development, means Cameco buying, draining the excess material from the spot market, however much of that there is, means you look a few years down the road, you have demand growing, more time to build nuclear reactors, more planned, more yada, yada, yada. And the one thing I want to comment in the interest of not being a promo all is good all the time person, because that's not me. I do look at Uranium Participation Corp and Yellow Cake, and I see them trading at a discount to NAV. So the one thing I want to point out is I would not expect or hope for, in this environment of them trading at a discount to NAV, I would not think that they should buy uranium. I, in fact, think that it might behoove certain parties to do the opposite, but that's a more of a per share argument that I don't want to get into here. But the point is, I wouldn't expect them to be buying more when their cost of capital is higher than the cost of capital. Now, can someone else jump into the market and buy? Sure, if they can find the uranium, they can do that. But I would not expect those entities to do so. So the other thing is I continue to see that everything that would be supposed to happen if the thesis is right, I'm talking rising SWU, conversion, all that stuff, it's all happening. Now, that being said, this low U308 price, which is what affects the miners, that can go on. Why can that go on? Because, again, under buying. So I continue to add to my favorite names. I've almost reached the desired allocation on my biggest positions, and we'll keep going. Okay, so thoughts on oil. I have seen some commentary and the beginnings of some indications that we may have um, peaked in the environment of disinflation in the recent times. There's a lot of complicated terminology there, and overly redundant, more than complicated. But the point is, inflation recently, along with growth, has been declining. So that the inflation part of that conundrum may have troughed. That would mean that if inflation picks up, either due to monetary policy stimulating it or whatever the reason, if inflation picks up, things like oil may stand to benefit from that, even if it does not mean simultaneous pickup in growth. That's basically my thought on oil. Been very beaten down, so might be soon worth a look if that trend of what I was saying here turns out to be right. Now, saving the most, I don't know if timely or exciting, not really, I don't know, saving the most interesting thing for last. Let's go with that. So, there's been, last week I spoke about somewhat an insider within Scorpio Tankers buying some 3-month call options for like $28 strike price call options, betting big that the price of the stock would go up within 3 months. Well, guess what? They bought more at a higher strike price. So to me, this clearly looks like they are making a big bet on the price of tanker rates going up much higher very soon. Now, there's a number of factors that could have this coincide with this time frame. The IMO 2020 is the biggest And the point is, if this happens, if they're right, as much as the stocks have moved so far, and you look at some of them and they've moved, this could be just the beginning. Because if you look at the insiders, they're buying out of the money calls that are barely making it to the money now after this move. And you then realize the premium that they paid for those calls. They really think we are going much higher. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. But yeah, that's the thought on shipping. So the three picks for the week. Norless nickel moved down off of its 25 level back closer to where we were buying before. So that's a pick. More chemical calls. Again, they moved up 10 cents, as at least the last trade was. But realistically, we're talking 2022, 10 cents, 10-cent move on a $17 stock. So the break even moves from 17.80 to 17.90. And realistically, 17.90, the stock was there realistically. Let's see. I don't know. I guess it was back there last in 2015. But now you have a better outlook for uranium than back then. Back then, they were part of crushing the market. Now they're part of trying to balance the market. We'll have to see how that goes. But um, yeah, it's not a big difference. Basically, 10 cents in a call option. And then the last pick, I know it moved. I know it moved big, and I know the whole sector is moving. And I normally, well, no, I don't like chasing, although I'm not convinced that this is chasing. So we're gonna get some Scorpio tankers. The Friday close was 33.65. I'm gonna mark it at $34 just because I noticed that that was the price while I'm recording this video, and I'm not trying to cheat in this, so we'll mark it at 34. So those are the picks for the week. So that's it. As always, hope you enjoyed, and until the next video, good luck in the markets and have a great day. As always, everyone, please do your own research before making any investment decisions. This channel shall not be liable for any losses incurred from investment decisions made as a result of information obtained on this channel. Good luck with your investments. I'll catch you next time.